friends, I filmed 4 videos and I didn't film the intro for any of them. So here's the intro. Enjoy the Oracle deck walkthrough. Hey friends, I really need to get like a tablecloth for this desk because it looks like shit and I feel exposed. Anyway, we're doing an Oracle deck walkthrough today. Basically what happened was my mom died. The woman who loved and raised me and cherished me, not my biological mom. I was adopted by my paternal grandmother, basically. But my Grammy died, and I called her mom when I was a kid and stuff. So my mom died. You know, it's complicated, family, whatever. But she passed away, and she was witchy like me as well, and she had several decks, so you'll get several videos coming. This is just the first one I'm making. This deck actually came from her second husband, who isn't alive either now, but when they were married, he bought this for her. I don't know how much she used it. I don't know what her relationship with it was. Oh, there's a picture of them in here. Didn't realize that. Oh no, it's not a picture of them. That's a picture of my mommy. There is something in here though. What is that? Oh, it's my baggage claim from the airport. Okay, that should be it. No more surprises in this book. Oh, I love this picture. I didn't remember that I put it in here. Hold on. Let me put it up on my wall. Put her right there. Beautiful. Anyway, random weird. Anyway, yeah, he gave this to her, and it was kind of in a box, but there wasn't, I don't really remember, but I feel like there wasn't room for the cards, and he had written directly on the box, and that was weird because he's weird. I don't know, but I took it out, so now there's not really a box for the cards, which I don't think there was before. I think it was just the book had a box. I don't remember. But anyway, now this deck doesn't have a box, so I'm gonna get it like a little bag for it to be in, but for now I've been holding it in a ponytail. You don't need to know all this information. I'm just telling you where this came from, because my last tarot walkthrough I was like, I'm not buying more decks, I don't need more decks, da 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 da. What I'm basically saying is I didn't buy this. I inherited it along with a lot of my mom's stuff, and this isn't the only one I got, so you have like a bajillion videos coming your way of walkthroughs. I think like there's a small number like 3, or there's a big number like 7. Like I don't remember how many I have. I have them all in a bag. Whatever. This is the Faeries Oracle. I've spent some time with the decks, all of them. I've held around for a week. I like to do that to get it all up in my energy, but it's been much longer than that. I've had them sitting in a bag by my bed, just so they can soak up a little more energy about me while I'm sleeping. The artwork on these is so incredible. It reminds me of, this page particularly reminds me of The Labyrinth, but in general, they kind of remind me of Spiderwick, which is a movie I loved as a child. Some of these pages give me a little bit of like an uncomfortable feeling. Like, let me try to find one that makes me feel weird. But like this one, like, what? Like, why are everybody's cheeks out? What, like, what's happening? So I don't know if this is a deck I really would have picked for myself, but some of the art is just so gorgeous. Like, I really like, these cards, like, wow, I love those. They kind of remind me of the Hobbit's journal, that piece of merchandise from Lord of the Rings franchise. Anyway, this is such an interesting, beautiful deck. I like how big the cards are, and it's not tarot, it's not the story of tarot. All of the cards have their own name, and the book goes over them, so I've never read with them before, so I'm definitely going to be looking in the book when we're talking about them. But like, wow, they are just so, ooh, this one's cute. She's got a little flower on her cheeks. She's beautiful. Like, I don't know, these are just Very interesting cards. I haven't really even looked at all the artworks yet. Now we're looking at them together. And, like, this one's blank. Like, that's really interesting to me, you know? I don't know. Like, this is just a really interesting deck. Anyway, let's do our Oracle deck walkthrough. If you've seen one of these videos before, you know that I like to ask the deck how they see themselves. I like to ask the deck what sort of impression they've got of me from hanging out with me for a week / knowing me for however long they've known me. Sort of how they see me, and then what kind of work they like to do together. Some decks are really choicey, and I have a deck that literally says, do not pull me unless you're asking about your psychic journey. And I said, okay, girl, I get it. And I have other decks that don't care. Some decks, they only want to talk about money, finance, the world, you know, it's their prerogative. I think decks have their own personality. A lot of people have different opinions about decks. You know, they're just paper and you're using them to talk to the universe. They're just paper, you're using them to talk to your ancestors or spirit. It's just this, it's just that. So, personally, I kind of go more down like the animism route with a lot of my practice. I believe that things sort of hold their own identity, their own soul. I mean, I know that they're not alive. They don't have a brain and blood and everything, but I don't know. I can believe in whatever I want to, okay? Dang. So let's get pulling the cards. Hello, Fairies Oracle, you beautiful, beautiful cards. I would like to ask you how you see yourself, like kind of who you think you are. I would like one card, please. That was 2, right? Yeah, you gave me 2. I would like one card, sort of how you see yourself, how you see your identity, who you find yourself to be. Just your personality, you're who you are, you know? One card that sort of represents you. Beautiful. Hold on. Okay. And then you spent a week walking around with me. Okay. This is how you see me. Thanks. You're quick to the punches. I appreciate that, because I have some decks that are a little slow. Like, they pull out cards pretty slow. Okay. And then what kind of work do you want to do together? Is there something in specific that I need to work on? Is there something in specific that you'd like to do? Do you only want to help me read other people? Do you not really care? What is there sort of a niche that you wish to comply with? No pressure to have an answer. Just pull out a card if there is one. Thank you so much. Okay. These cards are really beautiful. I see 5 on every single card. That's interesting. If you've been seeing 555 a lot lately, there you go. Hold on, let me put them down. The font is so beautiful. I have to like pull it up to read it. Gluminous Loom. Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense because it's like illumination. Like there's lots of like light, glowy things. I see like faces, but these like kind of look like maybe they're like branches or something. I don't know. He is very cute. I would have like a plushie of him and I would love him and I would give him kisses. He's very cute. And it says like gloom, like there's a lot of darkness in the background. He's kind of got like a little frown and I don't know, his eyes look a little watery maybe. It's just kind of like sad but bright. It's sort of like the vibe I'm getting from the art, but I don't know. We'll look in the book for the meaning. And then for how you see me, hold on. He's got a smirk. He's looking like a silly guy. He's pointing at his throat chakra and it's illuminated, so maybe good communication. I don't know. We've got another 5 up here. What is this one called? Erval Perthot. I don't know. The writing is so fancy I almost can't read it. I don't know. It's a cute little guy. I'm a cute little guy, I guess. This one's interesting because it has two figures on it, and he's balancing on his head while he's on one foot, and this guy seems to be walking because there seems to be a lot of movement, and then he's also balancing this rock on his stick. Like, this just seems to have a lot of balance in it. It says the journeyman, which actually reminds me of Saint Raphael. Anyway, but there's another 5 on the card, and it seems to be like maybe they're traveling at night, but like they're on a journey, they're going somewhere, but they're finding balance and like remaining graceful, I guess. Like, I can see like a lot of more meaning in this card than I can sort of see in these ones, but this is interesting. Maybe they just want to help everybody improve and they don't really care what that is. They just want to be useful when they're here. We'll see. Okay, card 56. Okay. Gloominous doom. Okay, not loom, it's doom. Self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, taking care of ourselves.
Self-pity is the first step on the slippery, seductive slide towards self-destruction. Much of what I've said above about the Soul Seeker card 55 applies to Gloominous Doom. So please read the Soul Seeker first.
I'm not doing that, sorry. It may be odd
to have such a seemingly lightweight challenger as Gloominous Doom right next to the Soul Shrinker, but they are the closest of cousins. The Soul Shrinker observes the way we curse others through energy and attitude. Gloominous Doom observes the way we curse ourselves. In a way, thought, what? Huh? In a way, thought, the part of ourselves that he witnesses, who's he, is worse than what the Soul Shrinker sees. When we curse others through spending the energy of malice and ill will toward them, they may reject our sendings. However, when we curse ourselves through self-pity and self-destructive attitudes, there is a little, if any, resistance, and the curse takes immediate effect and continues to act until we challenge our attitudes. It's interesting, isn't it, how we can see at once that the Soul Shrinker is ugly, but the Gloominous Doom has a certain charm, a kind of weird attractiveness. We feel sorry for him.
I guess this deck is a boy because it said he 1,000 times.
Anyway, certain charm, kind of weird attractiveness. We feel sorry for him. He looks so pitiful. I said he looks sad. And there is another side to him that one Oracle group participant sees. I feel that Gloominous Doom is underrated as a helper. He can be there for you when no one else wants to know. The state of self-pity when it seems trouble and the whole world is against you. It is an important part of the process. We all get down sometimes. You can say that we even need to compare with when we feel good. Gloominous Doom is ready and willing to help us explore just how awful it all feels, just how bad it is, and how hard done we feel, and what has made us feel like that in the first place. It is very important to really get to know these feelings, or how can you possibly let them go if you don't properly know them in the first place? Our feelings need to be fully acknowledged, okay then, and understood, or we just tuck them away and hide them from sight, until they appear again, maybe in full guise, maybe in a different guise. Gloominous Doom helps us properly explore our gloomy feelings of doom so that we can be done with them. It is a very important job. The ultimate test here, of course, is to take responsibility for ourselves and our attitudes and to choose a path that is life-affirming, not life-denying. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse life becomes. Reread that last sentence, please. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse life becomes. It is not the other way around. Self-pity makes things worse, and we have a choice, one we have every moment, as to whether we want to make our lives better or worse, and only we can choose that for ourselves. Start a reading. It is time to face the facts that our attitudes and beliefs about ourselves are our own. We may have learned them from others, but the others are not responsible for them in the here and now. We are. If we choose self-pity and pessimism, we make a choice that makes our lives worse. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates that this is a time we understand that concept is especially important. A time when there is some sort of a church in this crunch.
Oh my god, I'm too dyslexic to read on the internet.
In that situation that offers someone the opportunity to notice and change such self-destructive habits, it is yourself. You know what you need to do. If it is someone else, you may wish to consider how you might support them in the opportunity of change. Can you make sure to give positive feedback at every appropriate opportunity? Can you refrain from nagging, scolding, or complaining at them when they get it wrong? These things help.
I'm not going to read the reverse because I don't read reverses in my practice. Okay. And that's still the reverse. Okay. Sorry that took so long to read. I am not the best reader because I have a learning disability, but I can do it. It's just a little slow. It was probably sped up for you, to be honest. Anyway, okay, so that actually is really interesting, and I'm going to tell you why. I've never had a deck say that about themselves, But what's interesting about it is that the guy who gave my grandmother this deck, her second husband, who, I mean, was my grandfather to me when I was like really little, like elementary school age, and you know, they got divorced after that, so he wasn't in my life after that. When I was in high school, he unalived himself. And I'm not saying unalived because I'm uncomfortable with the topic. I'm saying unalived because I don't know about YouTube censoring. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it really was, but he was going through a lot. I don't really know, but he did that. And that sort of kind of came up to my thoughts while I was reading about like self-defeat and self-pity. And so it's almost like maybe the deck sort of has taken on the life and feeling of the person who gave it to her. I don't know if she ever even used it or if she ever even had a relationship with this deck, because like, why'd you even keep it if your ex-husband gave it to you? I don't know. But so maybe this sort of has a lot of his energy on it. I'm almost like maybe I should cleanse the cards, but I didn't think it would have a lot of his energy on it because it spent weeks with me, so maybe it has nothing to do with him. You know what I mean? Like, that's just interesting that that would come up for how the deck sees themselves, and that being where they came from, a person who has done that to themselves. I'm not trying to shame suicide, by the way. I don't know if it's coming off wrong. Anyway, but that's interesting. So the deck is low-key depressed. The deck kind of feels bad for himself. Maybe my mommy never used him and now he's like feels lonely. Who God only knows how long she's had it. I found it in a drawer in her room. I'll use you, Pookie. Let's not feel sad about ourselves, okay? Like, let's figure it out. Anyway, card 50. Let's actually figure out what it's called. Okay, I pronounced the name right. It's just a weird name. Arvel Parrot. I don't know. Communication. Okay, yeah, that's what I said about the throat. Anyway, Arvel points. Okay, maybe that's his name. I don't know. Points to the light in his throat center. Girl, I literally said that. That's funny. Okay. Oh my god, I don't know that word. In esoteric, I do know that word.
Lore, the energy center is the throat. Center at the throat is about communication. Fairies are great communicators, though not necessarily in words.
Oh, that was another thing I wanted to say about this deck, is that it's like very like, you know, fairy themed. Obviously, it's called the Faeries Oracle, and that makes me nervous because I don't want to work with the Fae in my practice. I'm afraid of them. I don't want them in my life. I'm really grateful for all the things that they do for the universe, you know, protecting the forests and things. But I don't want to mess with that juju. I don't want to mess with that at all. So that's funny that now I have this. But, you know, I'm not gonna not use the deck now, especially because he's so sad. Like, oh girl. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments, how you feel about the Fae. I think that's a really interesting witchy conversation. Anyway.
Fairies are great communicators, though not necessarily in words as we use them. They speak through words, of course, but they also speak through the rustle of leaves, the pattern of clouds in the sky, the way flower petals fall. They tickle us with touches, almost too subtle to feel, trying to get our attention.
Do they?
And they sometimes speak through our dreams and daydreams.
Please don't speak to me through my dreams. Sorry. I feel like I'm being mean. Anyway.
Their communications are something like those of cats, partly verbal, partly body language, part telepathy, and part pure fairy. Arvel says that we humans can
what the fuck is that word? Semaphore. Don't know what that means.
Each other by flashing the lights in our throat centers. In fact, he says we do that and read the messages on an unconscious level.
I need to know what this means to understand that sentence. So what does semaphore mean?
As a noun, semaphore is usually defined as an apparatus for conveying information by means of visual signals, as a light whose position may be changed. As a verb.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, so like, if you're flashing light through your throat chakra, that probably means like on the sort of level where you'd be seeing auras. It's probably like we do shit with that and don't realize it. Okay, that's cool. Anyway, read messages on an unconscious level, which is one of the ways we pick up on unspoken feelings and thoughts of each other. Okay, that's cool. Arvel, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, also says, and I agree, that almost any situation can be improved by people listening to each other, and that listening is a full half of good communication. The other half, of course, is speaking.
Is speaking truly and clearly. Some people use speech as a game or as a test of others to see if they can puzzle out the meaning. And this is fairly fun.
That's funny. He wrote fairly like, that's funny.
As long as actual communication doesn't matter. When it does, though, it is helpful if we try for clarity. At the very least, and hopefully wisdom as well. Arvel has many wise sayings to help us. It takes two to say yes, but only one to say no.
Oh, girl, preach.
Where the stream is shallowest, greatest is the noise. What? I'm stuck on this word and it's literally two letters. I wasn't saying what about the previous sentence, I literally can't read this word. He that always complains is never pitied. Better than gold is a tale rightly told. 'Tis easier to give advice than to take it. From the place where deer are not, they're not easy to be got. Whoever burns his bottom must himself sit on it.
Okay. Thanks for the advice, Arvel.
Well, enough of that. Arvel reminds us that good, clear communication is sometimes hard
work. Did you hear my tummy rumble? I haven't had breakfast today.
It requires elbow grease because the elbows are secondary energy centers to the throat.
Sure.
He wishes you to know that his elbows are well greased. Starter reading. Clear communications are vitally important here. Strive for verbal brilliance. Listen carefully. Be articulate. Be willing to calmly debate the issues and explore ideas with others. Open communication will enhance the chances of survival all around. Arvel also suggests that the querent. Watch for body language, incomplete sentences, and unfinished thoughts, and try to discover what these signals are meant to get across.
Okay. So I actually really align with this because I am constantly telling people, you're not making any sense. Say that again. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're not even speaking English right now. Like, I constantly am on people's asses about not communicating well because I need to be able to understand what you're saying. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck what you're trying to tell me. So I'm constantly on people about like, girl, say that better, because if you actually want me to help you right now or da-da-da-da-da, like, you fucking need to, like, enunciate and you need to, like, make sense right now. So that's really funny that this came up for me. I guess being with me, the deck has picked up on me calling people out on bullshit. Because communication is something that has been a really big part of my journey, at least the last few years. Like, I want to say since, like, 2023. It's been a really big deal for me, and it's been something I've really worked on. Like, I started my whole like journaling journey because of it and everything, and like I've done like so much. Like, if you know me personally, you would know like that has been a really big thing for me the last several years, is working on my communication and how good I am at it. And maybe it doesn't come across in my videos because I'm kind of nervous, but in real life, talking to me, like, I'm very like good at it, I guess. So I kind of feel flattered that this would come up for me, and also like I just feel really accurate. Like, I definitely prioritize communication a lot in my life, and I definitely do like call people out on it. Like, he's like saying that they like, you know what I mean? So I really feel aligned with that. Anyway, 15, the journeyman. What kind of work the deck wants to work on? Okay. Starts on the page before. Okay. The journeyman, adventure, independence, polishing of skills, travel. All
Of the great ones, the saints, the bard, have the and all of those who are filled by the spiritual light have been on this journey. They went into the wilderness, stepping like fools off the safe paths into the waiting hands of their gods or goddesses. This is the journey of life, a pilgrimage that begins in ignorant trust, passes through all of the doubts, fears, ups and downs, probably all of the delusions, and certainly all of the confusion. Through it, we learn slowly, painfully, a new kind of trust, a trust in the process detached from the goal. Our young, this word, journeyman, bless him, is stepping out on the journey of life, positively, glowing with enthusiasm, even his toes sparkle. Bright, handsome, and educated, he has completed his apprenticeship in fairy crafts and magic, but he has not yet achieved true he is testing himself and his knowledge in the world. He hopes to eventually achieve the status of Master Maker Card 22. Right now, he knows a lot of facts, has all the basic skills, but probably knows less than he thinks he does.
This is giving me like Fool vibes, but also like Page vibes. You know, in tarot, how like the Page is the student. This is reminding me of that.
He is about to learn about the skills of survival, bartering, persuading, selling, buying wisely, enjoying life, making friends. At least he doesn't need to learn how to iron his own shirts. Blah, blah, blah. Still has lovely, playful, childlike qualities. An Oracle online group member notes that he is playing balance the ball
On a stick. That's what I said. With the moon. Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, and
adds that he seems to have no constraints, sets no boundaries on what he can do, and because he is magical and doesn't set such limitations on himself, he is able to walk on air or water, or through the hills all with the moon nicely balanced, both on his stick and in the sky. Our young, I'm gonna try to read it. Must learn to care for himself. No one is looking over his shoulder to see that he does his work right, eats properly. He may take chances and even make mistakes, sometimes as we all do, but this is how we learn. He is now confronting and being confronted by the real world. He will discover that excuses don't buy bread and that the quality and integrity of one's work and actions are what counts. But he has been well taught and pretty well knows this already.
this is reminding me of like the feeling you have when you're moving out of your family home and starting to like be an adult.
Don't tell him I told you, but he sometimes wears a false mustache, hoping that it makes him look more mature. This is so silly and funny. He has romantic dreams of being a great hero, of becoming the supreme master of his craft, and of winning a fairy princess. Some of these dreams will come true, perhaps even all of them. Here we see an innocent being walking trustfully into a situation for which he is not fully prepared.
That reminds me of 2, like the leap of faith in tarot, the 2 part of the cycle, because he's like coming off his head. That, yeah.
And indeed cannot be fully prepared, or for which his preparations is as yet untested by reality. He is innocent of previous practical experience of the path he is now treading, or the realm of life into which he is moving. The card could be called Innocence Encounters Reality, which is by no means a bad thing. His fairy godmother is lurking somewhere.
Oh, that reminds me of my mom.
Just out of his sight, as fairy godmothers tend to do. Her expression is both gleeful and worried. Her hair is already whiter than it was before he began, and she is keeping her wand fully charged at all times. Although this is his journey and he must undertake it himself, almost everyone needs and is given a little fairy godmother from time to time. Good-natured innocence attracts fairy guardians. It attracts helpful beings on all planes and in all worlds. It may also attract those who would abuse that innocence, but as long as our intentions are good, our guardians will offer good guidance. We are blessed and cared for if we allow ourselves to be. The world is before him with smiles and teeth. He has optimism, cheerfulness, magic skills, and his diligent fairy godmother. He grows with us when we step bravely into the unknown, develop our potentials with hope and optimism, and an open heart. Start a reading. Adventure, independence, travel, a long path ahead, we hope. This card speaks to the need to perfect skills in working and living, but it acknowledges having a sound ground on the basics. Optimistic, innocent, and willing to learn, he also shows us that intuition serves us well, but only if we pay attention to it. Sometimes we are operating from theory alone, and our knowledge may or may not be well grounded in reality. This card does not necessarily
I'm sorry if you can hear my neighbors.
refer exclusively to beginnings. It can also signify a person along a path, moving into the unknown from the known, a new phase in an ongoing process. The card may also represent untested concepts or ideas and suggest a need for balance between the intuitive and the rational as one approaches the unknown. Consider where you are going, what are your long-term goals, and are you doing this in helping you to move toward them?
This really aligns, and I know it's just what he wants to work on with me, but it really aligns for like kind of what my life is doing right now. Like I am wanting to like work on such and such goals so I can move to a new career, and this kind of really reminded me of that, and it made me feel like the deck wants to help me in that process. It also, like the godmother over your shoulder, kind of reminds me of angel over your shoulder, like my mom who's passed looking over my shoulder and protecting me. And like just the whole like self-improvement thing, like that's totally like my vibe, and so I love that this deck wants to be like, hey Jessica, let's do that together. I don't know, I really like this card now that I've read about it, you know, like I like them all more after I read what they're about, because now I can like see it, you know what I mean? Yeah, this was beautiful. I loved that so much. Yeah, I really loved that. But what's funny is it's like consider where you're going and your goals and everything. And that's funny because literally just yesterday night, I was writing about like these are the things I need to work on and prioritize because I can't control the fact that I'm not at this goal yet. So I need to just do what I need to do and work on these things so that I can get to the next steps. And that's funny because that's basically what he's talking about. Anyway, those are like, that's my like, you know, tarot walkthrough. That's my get to know the deck. Now that we've sort of built this like information, now we can have a relationship where I know when I want to utilize you in my practice. But since this is a YouTube video, I don't want you to feel left out. So we are gonna pull a card for you if you would like to. Oh shit. Girl, chill out. Hold on. Whoever's watching this, you don't have to. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Whoever's watching this, you don't have to accept this message. And I don't really care about giving people messages online anyway. But I just think this is a fun little thing to do for the sake of the video. So can I have one card for the audience, whoever is watching, the collective viewer? One card, could you make it fall on the table? One card for them in their day or their part of their life that they're in right now. One card for them. These cards are kind of loud when you shuffle them. Just one card, please. One card.
One card for the viewer. Just one card, please. Make it all on the desk. Oh, hold on. Just one. Just one. One card, please. Thank you. Oh, that's two. Not thank you. One card. One card, please. Please. Okay.
Thank you. 47, the Oak Men. Okay. I won't read the whole thing. You don't have to suffer through that again. Because I know listening to me read is kind of like dying. Okay. The Oak Men, strength, ancient wisdom, and depth. I'll hold it up so hopefully you can read the whole thing. But,
I had an interesting lesson from the Oakmen about how we humans use fairy to mirror our own projections. The eyes of the Oakmen are warm, light brown, just some people looking at sunset. Ooh, red eyes scary. I tried a little experiment using digital magic. I made a copy of the Oakmen and gave them blue eyes. I then asked some people for their impression of the men, and the words like innocent, sweet, and melancholy came back. Then I changed them to the unreal looking violet, and got responses of like, ooh, spiritual, so wise. Had the Oakmen changed? Of course not, but the people projecting onto them had.
now I want to read the whole thing. I just said I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but now I want to.
This card depicts the strength and wisdom of age. It also reminds us that we need to know what is truly there to be seen, cannot be discovered by this superficial glance. Also suggests that we might learn a lot from trees. Consider trees and their wisdom. Connect to a wise old one and ask for help.
Go talk to trees, girlfriend. Basically. Anyway, thank you so much for coming through my deck walkthrough with me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this video. I kind of went through all the artwork in the beginning, but like let's just take another glance. Like how beautiful, right? Like these are just, they're very, very pretty cards. I love them so much. I'm really excited about this deck now that I know their vibe, know what they want, know what they see, know what they are. And like just look at this. Like that's incredible. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you loved it so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye, friends.